You simply cannot go into a Photoshop-related website without seeing ads for Portrait Professional 10. To the point of nauseam, these obnoxious ads are everywhere. When I signed up for AdSense to put some revenue onto my website, www.theartofretouching.com, the first ad delivered to me was for this software. I immediately blocked the ad from showing on my website. This is because there was no way I was going to advertise it before testing it out for myself. This is my Portrait Professional review. I will help speed this review along by saying that I'm a professional portrait retoucher, and I was simply amazed at what this program can do. The ads that you see everywhere are actually hurting sales and not helping. I want you to know that in the hands of an amateur or a professional, Portrait Professional 10 impressed me. The software itself is a standalone. No Adobe Photoshop is needed. There are many people who want to do photo retouching, but do not want to pay hundreds of dollars for Photoshop or learn all the hard stuff involved with becoming proficient with it. My intention was to review this from the point of view of an amateur, but I have to say, it's an excellent starting point for professionals as well. With the same controlled lighting, photo studios can easily use this program to knock out one image after another with the same subtle moves to give the photography an unexpectedly clean result. The first screen has a simple Open Image button. After pushing it, the first thing I tried to do was open a raw image from an old Konica Minolta A2 camera. What, you didn't think I was going to make this easy, did you? Well, no go. It went right to a website telling me I needed to pay for the software to open up RAW and work in 16-bit mode. Okay, fair enough. At least it would do it. Back to the software. I'm going to click on Open, and then I'm going to choose this image. I chose this for several different reasons. From the fact that it's over-sharpened, there's an overshine on the face, and in general, it's not a particularly flattering shot. Also, we don't need to see this trial version thing, so I'm just going to open the window up a bit so we don't have to keep looking at that. Okay, so I'm going to choose female, and then what it wants you to do is actually click the different points on the face. I'm going to click there, click on the nose, and then the corners of the mouth. I was immediately impressed when I noticed that it started tracing parts of the face. And I'll be honest, it actually worked pretty well. I'm just going to do that. It's going to do that. Enter. And then you hit the space bar. And then I'm going to adjust this one a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Space bar. I'm going to say it's an open mouth. Then I can grab this point and open that, bring that up. And again, I thought this was kind of neat because even though it's like a side shot, and I had tried another image that was really bad too, a really bad angle, but once again, it actually followed the contours pretty well. Now I'm going to adjust the outer face. And then now when it opens up, it shows you the original on the left, and then what you're working on the right. And then it has this navigator window. So I'm just going to close that up a bit. And so the way that this interface works is you have the different settings from face sculpt, where you're distorting the shape of the face, skin, eye, mouth, nose, hair, skin lighting, and other picture controls. As well as this up here are saved settings, which I'm going to get to at the end. Basically, if you click one of these windows, it drops down, and then you have the option to do all these funky moves. And what it's doing is, since you mapped out the eyes, nose, and mouth, and the chin and everything, it has a pretty good idea of where everything is. What I had originally expected out of the software was some very mediocre options to actually show up, but I'm not going to go into every option because this video is going to be way too long. Because I sat here for I can't tell you how long playing with this thing. It was just I just had a really good time with the amount of fine tuning that I was able to get in here. The reason that I don't like the advertising that they do, because they go crazy with the retouching moves, and in the real world that's completely unnecessary. So I'm going to zoom in so you can get a good look at what this thing's doing here. So as you can see, it started adding some blur, and this is just a master control that grabbed a whole bunch of things. But you can come in here and then you can start doing adjustments on the different body part, on the different parts. How much shine do you want? How much sharpness do you want? there was texture, and then each of these main sections have these subsections that you can then pull down more and get more detailed. But what I love about it is that I'm working just on the face. It doesn't affect all the eyes or the teeth or anything like that. It really just stays where it's supposed to stay. And again, I'd really like to go through this as quickly as possible just so you could see some of the things that it can do. There's red eye removal, which was obvious, right? Like this software wasn't going to have red eye removal. And then I thought this was neat. You could add reflection. Look at this. See that? It's pretty cool. So yeah, so I mean, when you got into the eyes, then you could do things with the left eye and the right eye. So let's say this one was more in shadow than this one. I can grab. It's not actually showing much, and I'm sure you can barely even see it on the video, but it is shifting the eye. So if this eye was in shadow, I'd be able to adjust just that eye, which I like. You can brighten the eyes. There, you can see that move. You can even go in here and change eye color, and then which eye do you want? Let's just change one eye. You know, now she just has one green eye. It really, the software really got into really crazy detail, and I really liked a lot of it. And I honestly, I didn't expect to like anything about it. So you can go in here with the mouth. You can brighten teeth. So if she had yellow teeth, you would have that. You can do all these different things. The amount of saturation. You can do the different lips. You can change the amount of contrast on the lips. You can change the color of the lips. And then now if I wanted to, I could go back in and adjust that mask a little bit so that it would get that better. But anyway, again, you totally get the idea. Now this is the one that really surprised me a lot. It actually has hair, which is kind of cool. So if I click on the View Edit Hair, it actually went in there and it grabbed all her hair. You can see the mask that it made is purple. That was crazy. I did not expect it to even go as in-depth as that. But if I want to, you'd be able to see that right here it didn't get part of her hair. So I can make the brush a bit bigger, and then I can just fill it in and manually give it that mask. And then go OK. But what's really neat about it is now I can go in here and I can start adjusting the amount of shine that's on, how light or dark the hair is. The vibrance, saturation. And then one other thing I want to show you about the hair that was that really floored me was if I zoom in and then come over to the hair area, now you can see all the amount of sharpening that's been applied to this image. I can go into a hair tidying mode. I can go in here and I can actually smooth the hair. Now this is the full amount of it. But as you can see, what an amazing job it did, keeping all that hair, but removing all that noise that was going on. Now, of course, this is complete overkill just to show you, and it doesn't look completely real. But what you can do is then just pull it back. You know, so if you started here, just add a little bit of it, just enough to give it some definition, but get rid of all this extraneous nonsense going on in the hair. So like I said, I'm not going to go into all these different options that are available, and believe me, there's a ton of them. But the last thing I do want to show you is the saved sliders, because what you can do is after you make the settings and you like it, you can save those settings. So this is really good for a photography studio, where if you set people up and you just keep taking the same shot with the same lighting over and over and over again, I don't know, like school portraits or proms or who knows, whatever. But the point is that you could set this up with a preference, and then you can just hit them one at a time. And as long as these are subtle moves, this won't be anything crazy. So what I do want to show you is I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and then I'm And then I'm going to apply this, this setting that I did earlier when I took some time to set things up. And after maybe 5 minutes or so of playing with the different settings, this is what I came up with. Now, I'm sure I can get in here and do it even more particular, but I thought this was just good enough. As a professional, I would be perfectly happy starting at this point rather than starting at this point, because a lot of this work was already done for me. But as a professional, I would then have to go into Photoshop and get more fine-tuned with it because of things like the hair that's on her face I can't get rid of, or individual blemishes. They don't seem to have a healing brush of any sort in here. But as general moves, this is great. And I want to show you this face sculpt. I'm going to show you what happens when I turn it off. You can see what happens to the face. What it actually has in here is like some sort of a liquefy. So you're actually moving pieces of this. So for example, her jaw, I'm just making it a little bit narrower. The nose, you can go in here and then you can shorten up the nose. Move it up and down. So yeah, once you made those points, it does a really good job of grabbing these things and fixing and helping. So it's not perfect, I'm sure, and I only quickly did it on one image, and then this was the second image I worked on, but I think it did a pretty decent job given what I had started with. Let me just zoom in here so that you can see it. Where it got rid of a lot of the sharpening, and it got rid of the shine a bit. If you found this video review helpful, please make sure you go to www.theartofretouching.com, where you can learn more tips and tricks about how to become a better photo retoucher.